Time to finish what you started. Time to put aside the procrastination. Time to make it happen. Time to be a winner and a champion, not just a participator. The title of this message is Finish First in the Fourth Quarter. Unstoppable greatness mindset is about crossing the finish line. It's not always about what the scoreboard says, though that's important. Make no mistake about it. But finishing first in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, when the chips are all on the line. We've been talking about this over and over again. Finishing what you started. FF4 is a concept of finishing strong when the game, the dream is all on the line. It is in the biggest moments where you've been able to have the composure to put it all together and come up big in crunch time. That's really the definition for me of FF4. So here comes some challenges. Are you typically a starter or a finisher? Do you put in a lot of effort to succeed, but have a difficult time crossing the finish line? Will you have the fight to put all of these concepts together and win your FF4 battle and win your FF4 battles to achieve extraordinary greatness? Will you have the fight to put all these concepts together and win your FF4 battles to achieve extraordinary greatness? You know, I have a lot of different examples of FF4 and not all successes, even failures. But I chose this one because it put the final nail in the coffin, stamp on the envelope, sealed, the deal was done. All of these concepts that we've been talking about in these motivational messages in one phase of my life. And so God blessed me with this incredible senior season. I didn't understand that it was him that should be receiving all the glory until a few years later when I actually gave my life to him. But I was still like in Wonderland going, what has just happened over these few months? All the hard work, all the things like that I've been sharing with you are coming together in real time. Good and bad and ugly, ups and downs, failures and successes, but plugging away, pushing towards that finish line. Season ends and I receive all these accolades, both team accolades and other accolades, right? And I was just like, I'm there. I'm right there on that platform. Exactly like I started to dream about when I was a kid. But then there was the All-Star game. And it was the big Kiwanis All-Star game of all of the Northern players, the top players, in all levels and all divisions, right? And we played at the highest division, highest level, but and there was good players at every division. And they would open this up by a luncheon where the two coaches that were selected, and one of them was my coach, because we had a Cinderella season on top of it. We were picked to finish last, and we finished tied for second, and we beat the top team in state for most. They ended up not winning state, but they were ranked number one. They were a top team. So they have this draft, and you don't know where you're going or if you're even going to. So coach selects me, and I can't remember what player number I was. And so we had a few practices, and there was going to be this big game. So it's like, this is the culmination of everything. End of the season, finale, that year is done. And I was just thinking, like, I got to make a statement in this game. This is the game of games. This is to put a stamp, cross that finish line, put that stake in the ground. And so one of my really good friends that was on the team, he was getting ready to move to California that same weekend. So he came over, and I think it was the morning of the game. And he said, and I said, man, I can't believe you're leaving, blah, blah, blah. And I remember I was standing in our driveway down by our gate, and I looked right at him. I go, I'm going to get MVP for you tonight. He's like, Mendel, what? I go, I'm going to win the MVP. And I was like, oh, should I have said that? So, he goes, I go to the game. And I couldn't believe all the who's who of that time were there at the game. Coaches, players, friends, students, just from all different schools. It was jam-packed. And so the game started. And I had this in my mind. And you guys, to say that I was laying an egg is an understatement. It was the largest egg known to man. I couldn't get anything going. Everything I did, I was turning the ball over. My legs were shaky. My shot was shaky. I don't know what it was. If it was the moment, I have no idea. And I would just go back to the bench, after I started, and I'd come back to the bench, go back and forth. I just kept going, what is the deal here? What is the deal here? And then, took me out. And then it was about like maybe 7 minutes left in the game, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I was just thought to myself, if he puts me back in one more time, I'm going to go all the way with this thing. I'm going to make something happen. I'm going to go for it all. And he called my name. And I remember sitting there at the scores table, and I was like going, you're going to just do it. Like, you've already blown it so bad. Just go for it. So I go in the game, and literally the score was 63-58. We were losing. Okay, so we were losing by 5. And so I got in the game, and the bam, bam, bam started, and I started making shots and passing the ball and clapping, getting the guys going, let's go defense. Trying to get turnovers. And I was enraptured in the moment. In the crowd. I always loved the crowd because the crowd could build me up. And I enjoyed the crowd. I wasn't afraid of it. I embraced it. I wanted the more people, the better. And so all of a sudden, it was like a dream. And it was just bam, 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 boom, boom, just hitting, going, do. And all of a sudden, like, it was about like a minute left, and they substituted for me. And I'm back on the bench again, and my teammates are looking at me going, Mendel, what just happened? I go, I don't even know. We had scored 20 straight points. 58, 68, 78, they hadn't scored. They were still at 63. The game was over. Katie barred the door. It's done. Nail in the coffin. Stake in the heart. And I just sat there. And I couldn't believe they're looking at me. They're going, "You're going to get MVP." I go, "What? No. I mean, game ends. And there it is. I got MVP." And again, it's not about that I got this and I'm doing this, bragging on this and that. It's about you. It's about your moment. And I knew, and I didn't even understand the concept of FF4. It's a philosophy I developed, through my point guard camps, actually, and my point guard training. But FF4, I knew that I had finished what I started. I didn't just talk about it. I finished. It was done. And in that big moment, I wasn't doing much for most of the game, but when it counted, I was blessed to have come through. A finish line competitor, right? You're going to finish your workouts. You're going to finish this tryout. You're leaving nothing for chance. You're finishing the season stronger than you started. A finish line competitor is a true warrior. Success points. Finish what you start. I know it's cliche-ish, but there's your example right there that I gave you in this story. I had a mess on my hands the first 3 quarters. I made a promise to somebody, and don't make promises like that. There was some arrogance there with me, probably, that God definitely has worked on me on that, trust me. But finish what you start. Complete your checklist. You've been given a lot of information. Check these things off. Check these things off. Check them off. And then you've got to grind through complications, complexities, like you're not even exactly sure how to do it, and obstacles. You got to grind through them. You can't make an excuse to stop in the middle. So I want to challenge you at the end here. Because for me, that game was more about than what I promised my teammate, or that I was going to get headlines in the newspaper, or this or that. It was something to myself, that I wasn't deceiving myself. From 5th grade, 6th grade, when I started this whole process of dreaming and then applying all of these principles that I've been teaching you, I started to get that FF4 mindset. And it started to come together. It doesn't come together overnight. In fact, there's times you don't even think it's going to come together. Those are most of my stories that I've shared with you. And most of my motivational messages are, I'm down and out. I'm in a full-blown mess. Can't come back from it, and certainly can't win from it. And then these success stories declare how, for me, again, faith in God and walking in that victorious mindset can get you to accomplish a lot of things. But you have to see yourself as a clutch performer. You have to see it. You have to relish the big moments. Small FF4 mindset, no, no, no. Big FF4 mindset, bam, bam, bam. Take the small things you do every day and make them a 4th quarter clutch moment in your mind as you finish any particular task. You can practice that. Am I going to clean my room? Yeah, I'm clutch. I'm finishing it. That's a clutch moment. You're building the FF4 mindset. I want you to write down 4 times in your life that you came through in the clutch. Don't tell me that you don't have some of these moments. And it may not even be in sports. It may be in another area, helping a family member, coming through for somebody when they needed a friend. It doesn't have to just be on the court. But you came through. Write down 4 of these in your life. You came through in the clutch when it was all on the line. The game or whatever it is was all on the line. And you finished your first in the fourth quarter of that situation. You finished first. You did it. You came through. Greatness is inside of you. I hope that I stirred it inside. And you can keep listening to these messages over and over again so that they can inspire you. And know that I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to someone else out there. I am talking to you. I'm coming to you directly. I believe in the greatness that's inside of you because I believe that God put that greatness inside of every single person. And I'm igniting your unstoppable greatness mindset right alongside with you so that you can be an FF4 champion and winner. Finish first in the fourth quarter. I'm standing with you. I want to hear your success story. Let's go get it.